Welcome to Brit Wrestling Fan Podcast. I'm your host, Andy, and I am absolutely honoured to be joined today by Steve GWC Morand from WWE Most Wanted Treasures and one of my favourite guys. So, Steve, welcome, mate.
Hey, my brother, God bless you. How you feeling across the pond today, my brother, Big Andy? How you doing?
Hot, very hot. It's 30 degrees.
Yeah, it's scorching over here in the Motor City, Michigan. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad everybody's doing good. Like I said, we're 6 feet in the right direction, changing lanes at the intersection, my brother. That's what it's about.
Brilliant. So, Steve, all we're going to do today is just have a chat about,
Sure.
Wrestling as a whole. Get people to know Steve Morand, and the GWC brand. Obviously, over in the UK, we haven't had the Most Wanted show on RTV yet. But as I'm sure a lot of wrestling fans, same as myself, have seen every episode anyway.
Yeah, it's wild that it's a bummer that they didn't show it over there and they didn't broadcast it. Like I wish they would have spread it a little more worldwide, and you guys got to chase it down in order to see it. But I'll tell you what, rocking with WWE and rocking with Most Wanted Treasures, I mean, it was an honor, that's for sure. But it was all organic. I've been collecting for 30 years, and I'm in a wrestling museum. I have my separate, I had to get a separate house to house all the wildness over here so the kids don't destroy it. They love coming over here, but don't get me wrong. But it's good to be, feels good to give back. I'm not going to give away everything out there, but I had Uncle Jake came through, Jake the Snake slithered through, and, Mick Foley came through for some time, and it feels good to give back, you know what I mean, after all this time being a fan and being a collector, you know what I'm saying?
So that's where we'll start then, Steve. So what made you get into wrestling as a kid? I love these stories because everybody's got a different story. So
sure.
what hooked you on wrestling?
Sure. First and foremost, I gotta say something to the BWF family, okay? The Brit Wrestling family out there with the GWC Situation Station, Elevation Station, folks. First things first, we're turned up from the ground to the ceiling because that's how we're feeling. Is that how you're feeling, Big Andy?
Oh, I.
I'm liking that. I'm feeling the energy out there, folks. It started for me. I've loved wrestling my whole life, man. I mean, I went to WrestleMania 3. So, I mean, that's Pontiac Silverdome. Pontiac is right outside of Detroit. It's where we're at. I'm in the Motor City. And that's something that obviously 93,000 strong. It's an iconic WrestleMania. The body slam heard around the world. I was a wrestling fan before then, but that really got me head over heels and rocking with it, if you know what I'm saying out there.
So that was your hook. That was your hook on it. And, it's probably a silly question with your t-shirt, but who was your favorite star growing
up? You know what? It's kind of crazy because I've answered this before, and it is like picking my favorite kid out there. You can't do it. No. They say, what's your favorite match? What's your favorite wrestler? Because I would always go back. I'm a mega power maniac. I love Macho. He's my spirit animal. I love Hogan. I mean, the mega powers is they're always with me. The red and yellow, they're always with me out there. But I don't know. I guess it depends on what day of the week you're asking me. It might be the Taker. I mean, it might be Bret the Hitman Hart. It might be Ric Flair. But it goes back and forth. But I love Macho and Hogan. I mean, they're up there for me.
Yeah. I see. I'm the same. You see, I mean, my one favorite is Dynamite Kid because I just think he was a real innovator in the business.
Awesome.
And the Bulldogs as a whole, obviously, with being a Brit, it's always going to be the Bulldogs. But, I think we were always the same as kids. Hogan, Warrior,
That's amazing. That's what I was going to ask you, Andy. Who's your favorite being, and I'm going to say something. The match that gets underrated, and I won't say underrated, but it just, Bret Hart and British Bulldog, their chemistry together.
Yeah.
Wembley, it doesn't matter where it was and whether a house show or Wembley, wherever you're at, their chemistry was unbelievable. You know what I mean? And I loved everything they put out together.
Yeah, not off. Yeah, I mean, I think Bret Hart was always a favorite of mine as well. I think his match in 1991, I think it was with Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, man.
The SummerSlam. Yeah. What a match that was.
Mr. Perfect. I mean, that's another that's another guy, in my opinion. Obviously, Intercontinental Champion, great Intercontinental Champion. He could have had a nice heavyweight run. Yeah. He could have world champ run, I should say.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's times have changed, have they not, Andy? From the Intercontinental belt days, and don't get me wrong out there, folks. It's still prestigious. It's still very prestigious. You're a champion. Don't get me wrong. I'm not discrediting any current or, within the last 10, 15 year generation span. But, back in the 80s, holding that oval Intercontinental belt, that was just something. It had a different feel to it. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, it is. And that's one thing, you're probably the same as me, Steve, is I've done an article for WrestleBuddies.com. Obviously, I do a lot of writing as well. And sure. I've done my 5 top eras. And one of the things that I stated at the end of it is, until I actually wrote it down, I didn't even think about it, was how lucky am I to have gone through the golden era, attitude era,
Exactly. You know what? We're blessed in that aspect.
Yeah.
As fans, in my opinion, it's because pre-golden era, I mean, in Detroit here, we had big time wrestling, all the different territories. They had Stampede, you had Georgia, you had all the different NWA, AWA, and we had big time wrestling here in Detroit. Dick the Bruiser and Bobo Brazil, Haystack Calhoun. And coming up on the old school, then coming to the WWF. WWF, I should say. Yeah. Don't leave the 3s out. But then it transitioned over in the early 80s, and we're golden era and all that. And just like you said, not to take the words out of your mouth, then we get to the attitude era, which is just an unexplainable. It's awesome in its own way. It was.
I think. Yeah. I think one of the things for us as well was because, like, the golden era, we were kids, so the larger than life characters and stuff we were all for, and then once we got to raging teenage hormone years, the attitude era hit and we're kind of right in there again.
It was almost like perfect timing, you know what I mean? And the WWF out there, hey, WWF, shout out to you. You raised us the right way until we got to the attitude era. You taught me how to say my prayers and eat my vitamins. Then you taught me about looking at puppies. So figure that one out.
So when did you start collecting, Steve? So obviously, you're a wrestling fan, but what was the first item you got, and how did it all start?
Now, I'll tell you something. It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild because, and I've explained it before, and some people look at me a little wild when I say this, but not many younger kids, they keep things in packages. And I rock and rolled that way. I kept a lot of stuff. I'm 5 years old. I'm 6 years old. I'm keeping Hasbros and LJNs, and it was actually before Hasbro. So I'm keeping LJNs and Remcos in the package. I mean, this is 80s, and I'm still playing with them too, obviously, but I wanted to keep one, and I didn't understand collecting. I didn't understand it. And then it gets older, I start getting older, and I'm boom. It's growing. Then it got to be where it's more of a passion, more than a hobby. It was a passion. I'm going out, I'm hunting. I mean, the thrill of the hunt out there, bro, that's like something that's unexplainable out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll travel state to state. I'll dig in, we got garage sales and flea markets and barn sales, and these are just, I'm sure you guys have stuff the same type over over in the UK, just random places or word of mouth, but it's the hunt.
Yeah,
and I love
it. It's hard over in the UK to try and get anything, especially ring one or anything like that. It's not existent really, you know what I mean? But obviously we do get the indie stars and stuff like that, but as a rule, it's like, I'm so jealous of you over in America being able to have the resources that you've got.
Sure, you know what? It's and I consider myself blessed. I do. I've been hunting heavy for a couple decades, and I mean, hunting heavy out there, not just going to a couple. Read a sign. There's a garage sale. Let's go. I mean, I'm doing homework. I got books. I got books with my leads in them. I got it's wild, and people call me all the time and or email me, and like I said, I'm blessed to be friends with a lot of talent, or current or past talent. So it's, you know, I'm a big fan of ring worn items, rare items, and off the wall. Every figure you can think of, every magazine, autograph, stickers. I mean, what it doesn't, whatever. And the time period doesn't matter either, because I got stuff that dates back to the 30s. You know, I got 1939 boots from the first African American wrestler. He went by the Black Panther, and all the way up to Dolph Ziggler's pants from Mania. You know, it goes from 39 to 2000 to now. You know, so it's
See, that's what I was going to ask you. You know, like, is it just WWF stuff or WWE as it is now, or you know, AWA and?
Sure, it's. I'm a mixing pot and a boiling pot, and put it all together, and you get some wild weather. You know, that's what you get with GWC, brother. But I love it all, just wrestling in general, and I've always been that way. Growing up, obviously WWF was more colorful, more animated too. You know, it's they built the characters differently, but I always respected NWA and AWA and Mid-South Georgia wrestling, and it's you know, it's all of it. It's the broad spectrum from east to west. It's all the best. Put it that way. What I'm saying.
And have you ever had any kinds of time when you've been starstruck when you've met somebody, or you know?
I mean, yeah, I'd say yeah. I mean, we're all at the end of the day. I love when Jake walked into the door of the museum here. I've met Jake, obviously. I've met Jake a good amount of times, and just having him walk through the front doors of my museum, though, was a different. It's a different feeling, because now he's. I'll give you a little backstory. All right, it's I do rehabbing and property rehabbing. I buy and sell in the city of Detroit, Metro Detroit area. That's one of my businesses. And, fix them, rent them. You know, this house that I'm in, I grew up in this house. All right. Not a lot of people know the whole backstory. This house was on the demo list a couple of years ago, and they were tearing it down. We grew up here in the 80s, 90s, and I grew up here 20 some years, 4 of my sisters and my older brother, and great memories here. But neighborhoods obviously seen better days. And you know, we moved out and moved on. A couple other families lived here, and then the house went vacant for almost 10 years. And you know, it's I got the house, and it was basically not even a shell left.
I
mean, burned garage, no plumbing, no electric, no roof, no windows. It's 2,300 square foot house. You know, it's a good, not a small shoebox. And I said, I have to save it. I'm so big on nostalgia. That's how this ties all together. This shows you what nostalgia, how much I love it out there. I had to save the house, and I said this would be the perfect place for my wrestling museum. I had it at another location, and next thing you know, it's a couple years later. We got 100,000 items here. We got 8-9 rooms stuffed to the gills, and moving forward, I'm beyond capacity over here, so I'm looking at a commercial building downtown Detroit, so I can really open up to the public, and that's what the big picture is out here. I want to share this love with everybody and let everyone be able to enjoy it, you know?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you really about, like opening up a museum to the public, because the one thing that kind of not annoyed me, but got me thinking with the WWE Most Wanted Treasures was the fact of them wanting this stuff to go into the warehouse, and they are stating about sharing it with the public, but at present they don't have anywhere to share with the public.
Right. Yeah. Right now they don't have a public place that they're sharing, you know, and that is in the works.
Yeah.
I mean, they have some things going on, and which will be amazing, and it is going to be amazing. And I guess it's just one of those, it's got to see it when we see it type things, but it is going on. But I feel you on that. There's a couple of museums out in different states that are awesome, but it's a different type of museums. You know, I think a broad spectrum of everything. That's why the GWC museum, I think the world will definitely enjoy. Just like we were talking about, it's every territory, it's every generation, it's everybody. You know what I mean? So it's something for everybody out there, you know. So it's
That's it. As I say, I watch quite a lot of your Facebook videos when you put them up. I had to catch them live, or if not, I'll catch them after the fact. And when you're showing all the different things, and it's, you know, stuff that we wouldn't even know that, you know, there's been stuff that you've shown on the videos that I haven't even noticed were actually a thing, you know.
Yeah, it's you know, and believe it or not, it's stuff that I see stuff. I won't say all the time, but it's a good amount. I'll see stuff. I'll say, wow, that was released over yada. That was released in Spain, just like the Star Toys figures. Okay, they're released in 1991 in Spain. I was just hanging with Jake the Snake this Saturday. So 5 days ago, I was hanging with him. He had a show. I came for some crowd support, I should say. Shout out to State Comics in Plymouth, Michigan. But I got everybody hyped up. And Jake says, I need that Star Toys for my collection. And it's I mean, this is the hacksaw version of the figure, but they're wild looking. They got real hair. They're crazy looking. They're real animated.
Yeah.
So when someone like Jake says, I need that to take home for my collection, you're not going to say no.
No.
Hey, he took that bad boy, he put it right in his suitcase and zipped it up. I said, that's amazing out there. But sitting at this table right here, I mean, right here at this very table, we got this, me, AJ, Francis, and Jake. We're doing a little negotiating. I don't want to say what we were negotiating in case you guys haven't seen it, but yeah, Most Wanted Treasures out there, A&E, they're rocking and rolling. I think they did amazing.
Yeah.
And I also feel that it was a long time coming.
Yeah, just anyone who wants to watch it in the UK, I can't put it on YouTube, but if you follow me on Twitter, @BritWrestlerPC, I'll share the link where you can actually watch it in the UK.
You heard it right there, folks. And, hopefully WWE, whatever their Peacock, whatever they got going on with how they broadcast, I hope it's a bummer. Like I said, you guys across the pond, other places of the world, you can't.
We do normally get it eventually. I mean, whether they put it out on the network or they'll give it to, you know, BT Sport to show the wrestling over here, it could be. Sure. So out of your items, Steve, which would you say is your most prized possession? If you had to pick one out of the thousands that you've got, what would be like your most prized possession?
Wow. Andy, you're doing it to me again, brother. You're hitting me with those questions that get me a little discombobulated. You know, that goes back to the picking my favorite kid again. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we can go to Flair Robe. We can go to I love my macho. I have a couple ring worn macho pieces from a couple macho robes and a macho coat that I really hold tight to me. I hold close to me. You know, there's a handful that I do love, and then it comes all the way down to, well, they're in another showcase. I can't grab them. I didn't grab stuff to bring out to you, but
yeah, no, it's fine.
My first wrestling figures ever was Remco Road Warriors, Legion of Doom. My favorite. I mean, best tag team of all time. I mean, best tag.
Well,
whatever. Hey, maybe they're tied with the British Bulldogs. they're tied with the Bulldogs out there. Okay. All right, but look at that was my first wrestling figure, so that's it, and I still own them, and you know, that's just a sentimental value, I should say, to me. But some of these, you know, I got a couple pieces that were hand given to me from right from some of the talent, you know, that mean a whole lot to me as well. I cherish these items though. It's something that, you know, you've seen it where they say the dads, they cut their lawn and they stand out and they look at their lawn when they're done cutting, which I do that too. Okay. But I come to the museum and it's like, I'm here multiple times a day and I do the same thing. I'll stand and I'll just look. I'll start daydreaming. It'll take me to a place in time, a good place in time.
Yeah.
You know, the wife's calling, where are you at? We got supper on the table. What's going on? You know, get home.
I can appreciate that, mate. You know, it's one thing with wrestling. I always say this is like somebody will mention a talent, or you'll see if, you know, like now with the Mattel figures, I think there's a new Sergeant Slaughter one coming out, and it just got me thinking straight back to WrestleMania 7 and the whole program there. And you know, to me, it's quite funny, as I say, because you know, like little young Andy was terrified of Sergeant Slaughter.
You know what? That was when he did his heel turn, and that was during the Gulf War. I mean, that was really controversial, obviously. obviously, because we were in a kind of a wild, not kind of, we were in a wild time with that side of the country. That he went straight, but that heel turn with him and Hogan, that was I like that. And then Slaughter was rocking the winged eagle. He had it was the purple, the navy bluish purple. It was a little different than this color that he was rocking. And he was rocking and rolling. I really liked that feud though, but he was scary. He did have a
because he went all out on it as well, because he had I was talking to him on Twitter the other day actually, and he was saying about the limousine, the camouflage limousine that he used to travel around in.
Yeah.
So he's trying to actually redo that at the moment.
Yeah. I have a story. I don't know if I could share it, but yes, he is rocking and rolling on that right now. That's amazing. That is amazing. WWE has besides their warehouse with all their wildness. I mean, Mick was over here. Mick was calling this, the Willy Wonka factory of wrestling. But that's the Willy Wonka factory over there. I mean, this is Willy Wonka, okay, but they got a wildness, and they got a lot separate over there with all their the past vehicles. With Gold Dust's Cadillac that he hit Roddy Piper with. Yeah. That's there. The Zamboni's there. The concrete filled Corvette's there. I mean, I love that stuff. I love that. Just seeing that history, you know what I'm saying? It's something it's unparalleled.
That's it, isn't it? So with WWE Most Wanted, how did you end up? How did he contact you first, or was it like the show? Obviously, I don't believe it was. Where Nick just turns up and knocks on your door. But...
No, well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, Andy. I didn't put GWC out there in the public until the last couple years. Okay, it's something I kind of kept private. I kept private for multiple reasons, and security was one of them, and there's some other reasons, but I'm not super tech friendly, as you could tell when I tried starting the Zoom video. But but at the end of the day, I didn't even know these groups existed. Yeah. And I'm just giving you a backstory about this type. And I didn't even know these groups existed out there. That was a couple years ago. I said, wow, there's a lot of people in the world like me, like us out there, that love wrestling. Like I said, you don't have to be a collector out there. Just a fan, just an avid fan, And I don't, Andy, I'm going to cut myself off. There is a stigma kind of against wrestling fans, I'll say, growing up. Did you guys get that across your way where people would?
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean when I'm saying this?
Yeah, I mean, I still get that now, to be honest with you. The reason I set this podcast up was because I didn't have a lot of wrestling friends, and I wanted to make a lot more friends out there. And shout out to Matty, who's like a really, really good friend now, and Alex, the wrestling buddy lads. I've made a lot of friends there, and obviously speaking to you, Steve, and other people. And that was my whole reason to try and set up this podcast, was for that reason. So yeah, I totally get it. And it was wild. I felt like growing up, I always had to defend wrestling, always. Yeah. Whether it would be, it doesn't matter. That just would be, you play with those, or you watch those, or you're so obsessed with that, and I would defend it to my last breath. And because I mean, we're true fans, so I was passionate, and I am passionate about it. So if someone would say something about Macho Man, or say something about Hulk Hogan, I would take it personally, and it's over the years, you get 30 years later, or 35 some years later, it calms down a little bit, you don't get so offended by it. But also times have changed, I mean, wrestling itself is not in that. Wrestling is sports entertainment, we understand that, but wrestling is a sport, and it's a heavy sport out. And that was my biggest thing. I hate we know the F word. The wrestling world, we know the F word out there, folks. And we're not talking about, you know what I'm saying? We're not talking that. We're talking fake. Yeah. We're talking fake. That was my biggest thing when that would get brought up. You watch guys fake fighting, fake wrestling. Wow. You want to see someone get heated? Young GWC. You want to see someone get wild? I would, because
I'd have to explain. I mean, and which I shouldn't have to. It's 300 days out of the year. They're on the road. They some are doing double headers. I mean, hour-long matches, getting not heavy pays, those house shows, but the biggest thing was just brutal on your body. I mean, you're beating your bodies up out there, and they do it for the love of it and for us fans out there, you know.
Well, that's it. And that's what I was going to say. Ask Undertaker with how many operations he's been through. Austin with his neck, you know, numerous others. Paul Droz, you know, try and tell them it's fake.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it, and you know, you can't say, oh, watch Hell in a Cell with Undertaker and Foley and tell me it's fake. You can go all the way back to the six. I mean, they were hard hitting in the 30s and 40s and 50s. You go Vern Gagne, you go even the 60s and 70s. I mean, these were, watch some old Dick the Bruiser. Watch some Dick the Bruiser from Detroit days. You don't want to see Dick the Bruiser in 1968 in a one-way alley when he's in a bad mood. Okay, put it that way, folks. No, but it's something I've always supported, defended, and I'm happy that it's getting past that finally now.
Yeah.
But
so was it on groups and stuff you were on Facebook? Is that where somebody kind of come towards you to like reach out to you, or was it kind of another way?
Okay, so when I got reached out to when the show was when they were looking for people for the show, you know, we had the world had a lot going on. I mean, it still does got a lot going on. We're just trying to get back to something, you know, but it's COVID going on and a lot of the world was just discombobulated. Is that the right word for it?
Yeah. I don't think there is any wrong words for it, really. Is there?
You know what I mean out there, folks? So at the end of the day, it's so they're getting their show going, and they put a reach out to some people, and my inbox off Instagram and Facebook. I'm not heavy posted on Instagram. I'm not my Facebook group, greatest GWC, my GWC page. I post more on there and do my live unboxings and stuff on there. So I had a lot of people on that page do reach out to me. And let's see, it was a talent agent from Los Angeles who actually did the first initial contact. And, you know, I'm not going to bring her name up. She's a great lady, and it just was real organic. She really enjoyed talking with me and saw the passion for it. And, you know, I guess the rest is history, you know? So,
yeah. So when like, you know, Mick Foley and Jake turned up, was that two separate times or was that kind of the same day?
No, that was two separate occasions. And, you know, it's wild how filming works, you know, how I won't say movies, just the industry works, because they filmed for a long time. You know, they came to the museum. It was amazing. My kids got to meet both of them. Yeah. And so they really got to hang out with Mick, because that was part of my stipulation for, I don't want to give it away. That was part of my stipulation for something that I had working out in the show with in the episode, which you guys will see out there. But my stipulation was I just wanted Mick to meet my kids and hang out with me and the kids and I, and which he did, and which was amazing. And at the end of the day, they filmed for like 14 hours, even though you see 10 or 15 minutes of it, you know? Yeah. With that being said, you know, they were at my museum for the good portion of the day, and two separate occasions. And Mick and Jake was a great guy too, and is a great guy. But personable wise, Foley, hands down. I mean, you want to talk about a down to the earth, just a great guy, an all around great guy. I mean, not just wrestling, folks. I mean, just a genuine good person. Sit and have a conversation with Mick Foley, because I practice positivity in my everyday life. I mean, I believe in, if you're positive, it comes back to you. You don't want, and he's the same way out there, and it's you could see that in his everyday life. But I mean, he's walking up to my neighbors' houses, and like I said, it's not in the greatest neighborhood. He's walking up to random people, meeting everybody.
Yeah.
Eating pizza with the kids. He's reading the kids his Christmas book. He read them all the Christmas. ate multiple meals, watched multiple matches. He's talking about my son Cash. God bless you, son. My son Cash is watching, and Amelia are watching. My daughter Amelia was here, and they're watching. Foley was putting on his favorite matches and commentary, doing the commentary for him. And when they watched Buried Alive, that was amazing to hear his take on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just awesome, and just an all around great experience. I had a really, I was blessed.
Yeah, because even with Mick, like, you know, when he does interviews or anything else, you never hear him say a bad word about anybody. He's just such a lovely guy, and you know, it's so I'd love to have a chat with him one day because he's just such a nice guy. Sure,
I'll line that up. We'll have to line that up and get the BWF rocking and rolling with Mick, because he'll definitely just a genuine guy. Yeah. One love, Mick. Love you out there, my brother.
One thing I wanted to
in August.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I wanted to say to you, seeing on your group the other day, and I want to mention it because I just thought it was absolutely brilliant, is like, you know, with Jake, and I know some people commented, obviously with not being in the best of health and stuff, and, you know, one thing you said on the group was about, you know, don't look at the journey someone's being on, look where the destination is, and it was just brilliant. You know, it's so true, is Jake is done so well considering what he's been through and stuff, which nobody wants to mention. But, you know, where he's got to now, and he looks happy, he looks well, he's still involved in the wrestling industry. It's just fantastic to see, isn't it?
It's God bless you for that, Andy. I you know what, you're right on that. It's amazing to see, because folks out there in the wrestling world, when you see me doing this, I was doing full circle. Okay, Jake has come full circle out there. I've known Jake for a couple decades. I've known Jake when he was had some dark demons in his life, and people can hit, and that doesn't mean everybody's got their own problems, and some people's demons and problems are different, and some are worse than others. And Jake went to hell and back. And he's back, and he's doing great. You know, he's got to wear his breathing tubes when it's hot outside. He's got COPD, you know, he's got a breathing problem. Unfortunately, he still smokes cigarettes. That doesn't help, you know, but at the end of the day, the man beat addiction, and he beat a lot of other things. And he's here to tell his story, and he's got a positive outlook on life. And it's great to see. His health's doing great out there, and it's amazing. I'm real happy for him. I'm real happy for him out there, you know. Yeah. Here we are. We're hanging out on the front lawn at the museum here.
Yeah, and it shows he's a role model to show people, you know, not just for wrestling fans, but people in general, about how you can come back when you think there's nowhere to turn. There is always the road.
You know what? And that's Andy. You couldn't have said it any better than that. That's not just wrestling. That's life in general, folks. You know, I'm not going to sound like a preacher, but there is always light at the end of these dark tunnels out there. It might be harder to find out there, folks, and it might take you longer to get to that end of that tunnel, but it's there, and you can do it. And there's plenty of people that show us that it can be done. And I commend him for that. You know, we're all proud of him. We're all proud of him, to say the least. You know, that's definitely.
Okay, Steve. So, what is the future plans for GWC? I know you were mentioning about the museum and stuff like that. Do you see yourself going on the road with the GWC?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's I have a lot of signings myself that are. I mean, even this weekend coming up, I'm picking up my brother, a good friend of mine, the Godfather. Shout out to Charles Wright, Papa Shango. I'm picking him up from the airport. Let's see, that's this Friday. And we're going to be on the East Coast. That's over in Pennsylvania.
Hamburg, is it?
That's Legends of Hamburg. That is at the legendary Hamburg Arena. That is where Jimmy Snuka smashed the coconut over Roddy Piper's head. This very place, folks. And we're doing a fan fest. Shout out to Ryan Vox and Antonio. We're doing a fan fest out there, and they brought me in as a guest with Cowboy Bob Orton and a bunch of other legends out there. And I brought Godfather with me, and we're going to rock and roll. But we got GWC. I got a lot on my plate stacking up from every month. I got a couple signings in all different states around. And I'm blessed to share the love with everybody. And I always look forward to doing it. You know?
Awesome. And, one thing that I do notice on a lot of your Facebook posts and stuff is people asking about merch. I know you said you've got something in the works, so that can you tell us anything about what that's going to be?
Hey, man, hey, I appreciate you asking first and foremost out there. And a lot of people do ask me about GWC merch. I should have grabbed some koozies in the other room, but so look, after this weekend, the legendary Hamburg, after this weekend, the Legends of Hamburg, I got GWC merch is going officially on my GWC page, Greatest Wrestling Collection on Facebook. We got koozies, we got fanny packs, we got shirts, we got hats, we got buttons, we got lighters, we got posters, and we got buttons and stickers and a little bit of everything for everybody out there. And it's going to be rocking and rolling so we can all support the GWC movement. Because, folks, I may be the GWC, we're in the GWC museum, but we're all the GWC family. All of you. All of you is from east to west, north to south. Hey.
Yeah. I just want to say, if anybody doesn't follow awesome.
Hey, I told the wife I was going to put my hair in braids and put the beads in it. She told me, she said, honey, only Davey Boy Smith can pull that off. I said, okay, I'll let that be. But shout out to Gator Brothers, Guitar Brothers out there. They keep it rocking and rolling.
Yeah, because it's quite cool. And as I say, we've got a convention in Liverpool next year, and Georgia Smith, Davey Boy's daughter, is down there, and she's bringing a lot of his ring-worn gear and stuff like that, and doing a bit of an expedition. So that'll be quite cool.
Yeah,
to see some of that stuff.
I really shout out to Georgia Smith. You see who's back. You see who's back in wrestling too. Hey, her brother's back out there. Big Dog is back, and
well deserved as well.
Yeah, I was good to see him back too, and she's awesome, and I really do. I commend and appreciate her for sharing their father's legacy. That's the best word to put it, because it's his legacy. It's not just his ring worn. It's not just his stories, and it's everything combined. It's his legacy, and that's what it's all about.
Keeping it alive, isn't she?
I'm sorry. Yes, 100%. God bless you for that out there. You know, it's he was amazing. You know.
Yeah,
most definitely.
And as for say for Harry, really, really good that he's made it back to WWE. The lad's worked so hard. He's been everywhere, hasn't he? Learned every style. You always see him doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and stuff as well. So he's just worked so hard, and he hasn't got anywhere off the back of his dad's name. He's done it through hard work and dedication. And I've nothing but respect for Harry.
That's what it's all about too. Is he didn't coattail. No. And he didn't coattail at all. He kept it official like a referee with a whistle out there, folks. Hard work pays off. I mean, that shows you right there. And it's all about that dedication and determination out there. Yeah, I enjoy watching his career, and I'm gonna enjoy seeing where it takes off from here on out, man. I like watching talent in AEW. I like watching talent in NXT. I like watching talent in WWE. I like, I love it all, man. It's every day see something new. Every day see something new, Yeah.
Okay, Steve. Well, we'll start to wrap up from here. Is there anything else you want to say to the GWC universe or wrestling universe in general?
Wrestling universe, wrestling fam, love you out there. You know what? We turned up for the ground of the ceiling because that's how we're feeling, and it's always a GWC situation station out here, folks. And we got to rock together out there and share the love and see what we can see. I'm trying to flip this camera around, so I'm in the VIP lounge right now. This is where I sit. This is where I do my shows at. Okay, so I don't know. This is kind of wild over here. I didn't know we're gonna say what's up to Shiki. I might lose you out there, but I wanted to take you guys over. Wanted to take you over somewhere real quick and see what we could see. I don't want to lose you. But we're going through the game room now. Hold on here. Hey, big time wrestling. Shout out. I want to go to the Legends wing, and hopefully I don't lose you, my brother.
Still yet.
All right. Hey, so this is young GWC. This is me over 20 years ago, folks. This just shows you. This is my first house I ever bought. My collection wasn't the biggest, but you got to start somewhere out there, But then you get to the Legends wing, okay?
Awesome.
And it's hey, to be the man, you got to beat the man, folks. And right now, you're looking at the man. It's going down. Randy wore this. He wore this a lot overseas in his WWF days. Hogan wore this in '89 in his Royal Rumble promo. Hey, you know, we keep Mick around here, but folks, this is what I wanted to do, though. I wanted to come over here to this. This is one of my favorite pieces. Okay, and I do, Andy. You got to do this, brother. You got to put your hand out like this, all right? Mm-hmm. You got to put it out like you're about to reach for something. All right? So you go down here. You got to get the electricity. Run them through your fingers out there. You're doing it. Folks, feel that electricity. You getting some, Andy? You get it? He's doing it. Wow. Wow, folks, it's going down around here, if you will. I'll tell you something. Jimmy's in the building. Xbox is in the building. Hey, Howard Finkel might come through to say what up to you. You never know what's going down around here, folks.
God bless.
Welcome to the GWC. Hey, now, I just wanted to share that little.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Which we're not going to go to the upper realms of the museum. There's 4 rooms up there, and it's kind of wildness. But folks, if you kind of get what I'm getting at out here, it's a one love situation station. It's the love for wrestling and the love for collecting is something that's never gonna run out here, folks. And I got love for all of yous out there.
No, Steve, well, I appreciate you sharing that with us, mate. That's brilliant. That really, really good to see all that stuff. It's awesome.
Hey, I appreciate you, and I love what you got going on. Keep rocking out, my brother.
Cheers, my man.
You know what you got to do out there, though. Yeah. You know what you got to do. Everybody, you got to keep it triple seed, and that's cool, calm, and collected, and always in the right direction, folks.
Brilliant. Well, guys, thanks for joining us today. Make sure you leave a like on the video and a subscription. Go over to Facebook and check out the GWC group. Absolutely awesome. You know, lots of great people on there. I do a lot of interacting on there myself, and you know, you'd be surprised how many people interact with each other. Steve's always popping in and interacting with people as well. It's not one of these groups where, you know, it's just kind of there. Everybody's interacting, everyone's chatting. So if you're looking for that type of thing, jump over to the GWC and come and have a chat with everybody.
That's what it's all about. We share the love for wrestling, and we share the positivity over there. We're 12,000, 13,000 strong, and we're rocking and rolling. Yeah, love y'all out there. One love to you, my brother.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care now.